Not only do we doubt, because we do. We doubt when we forget who God is. We doubt when we somehow don't understand that just by his very nature, God is the one who keeps his promises. We doubt when we just forget the fact that by his very nature, God is sovereign. God is in control. Ultimately, that's what doubt is it not? That somehow we believe that there is an area that has fallen through the cracks. Somehow we believe that there is an area that has escaped God's view, or there's something that has slipped between his fingers, or that somehow he has forgotten, or that somehow he has lied. And the only way that we can doubt like that is if we forget who he is. When you know who he is, you know he does not forget things. He neither slumbers nor sleeps. That God is never late, but he's always right on time. When you understand who he is, there is no room for doubt. But beyond knowing who he is, we also doubt because we forget what he has done. Verses 4 and 5 allude to this. I also established my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan, the land in which they lived as sojourners. Moreover, I have heard the groaning of the people of Israel, whom the Egyptians hold as slaves, and I have remembered my covenant. First, God is reminding Moses of their first meeting. That ought to sound familiar to you. When God first encounters Moses, he says these same words. I've seen, I've heard, I remembered, I've come. He says these same things. So God is reminding Moses of what he has done. Secondly, God is reminding Moses and Israel of his covenant. It's amazing we talk about covenant, but there are two things that are associated with the idea of covenant. And that is the concept of revelation and redemption. Listen to what our confession says about covenant. In chapter 7, paragraph 1. The distance between God and the creature is so great that although reasonable creatures do owe obedience unto him as their creator, yet they could never have attained the reward of life but by some voluntary condescension on God's part, which he had been pleased to express by way of covenant. You can't know God unless he reveals himself to you. Sure, the heavens declare the glory of God, and you look out at the heavens and you look at the world and it says to you there is a creator and you're without excuse. However, you don't know who he is. You don't know his name unless he condescends to you and reveals himself. And the covenant is the means by which God reveals himself. So when he reminds Moses of this covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, what he is saying is, I revealed myself to Abraham and to Isaac and to Jacob in ways that I did not reveal myself to the rest of the world. Not everyone has access to the same revelation. But God reveals himself uniquely to his covenant people. And so first and foremost, he's reminding him of the fact that God revealed himself. And secondly, there's this idea of redemption. Covenant means redemption. God chose Abraham, not the rest of the world. He redeemed Abraham. There are other individuals that could have been redeemed by God for this purpose, but they weren't. Abraham was. Secondly, God turned a barren couple into parents. God did that for his purpose of redemption. Thirdly, he turned a man into a nation. God did that for his own purpose in redemption. And God turned that nation's time of need into their time of deliverance. God does that for Israel. And he reminds Moses of that. God also rebukes Moses and Israel for their doubt. And they need to be rebuked for their doubt. How does he rebuke them? Simply by reminding them of who he is. You've forgotten who I am. Israel says, you made it hard for us. What's wrong with you? You came and you spoke to Pharaoh, and now all of a sudden things are harder for us. Moses turns to God. Why have you done evil against these people? Look at what Pharaoh did, the evil that he did to them. How could you do this to them? And God says, hold on, son. First of all, I'm God. You seem to have forgotten that. but I'm going to let that one slide. Secondly, I am the God who made a covenant with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. Thirdly, I'm the God who promised something to these people. And fourthly, I'm the God who remembered my covenant and came and got you so that my people could be delivered. Or have you forgotten why we started this conversation in the first place? This is a gentle rebuke. It's better than the last one. Amen? This is one of those rebukes where at the end of it, you kind of go, I just got rebuked, didn't I? Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You see, God doesn't owe us anything. And yet, He has revealed Himself to us. And He has redeemed us. And He's in the process of redeeming us, regardless of what it is that we're experiencing.